with the current administration's reduction in health protection agencies and environmental protection agency, it behooves all of us to take a preemptive look at our own health protection. In other words, you can't count on the government to protect you. This particular administration, I'm not trying to get political here, I'm not trying to take a stand, but it's an absolute fact that the current government favors corporations, wealthy corporations, above individual citizens. And what that means is corporations are only interested in profits. They will, especially those corporations that are involved in food production and any type of anything related to health, they only are interested in making money. They do not care about whether some of the chemicals and the, let's say, ultra-processed foods they produce are harming human health. And like I say, with a guy like Robert Kennedy being the health secretary, don't expect things to get better. It's only going to get worse. And that means it's up to each of us as individuals to watch out for our own health. Now, Robert Kennedy's right about one thing. He's wrong about a lot of things. But he's right about certain things, about the chemicals in food. That has, even the past administrations that gave more, let's say, support to health agencies didn't really pay much attention or didn't do as much as they should to ensure the health of people in regard to, let's say, contaminants in their food. Not contaminants, but let's say chemicals in the food. Now, the problem with these chemicals is that some of them could be possibly even be carcinogens. They could stimulate cancer, and others, I should say the mechanism behind that is that some of these chemicals that are added to food disrupt the immune system. So I'm just going to go over a list of some of the most toxic immune disrupting chemicals that are in food. Now, what you have to do, now I'm sure that most of you who are watching this are probably into fitness and bodybuilding and health, exercise or sports. So you're more conscious of what you eat, and you probably, if you're smart, and I'm sure most of you are, or else you wouldn't be looking at this video. That's a little plug. Anyway, you're probably already avoiding ultra-processed foods, which is the first step. Do not eat processed foods. That means TV dinners and all the stuff that has all the chemicals added. But like I said, some chemicals are egregious. They're really bad. So you have to start looking at food labels. So let me go over some of these really, really bad chemicals that kind of knock out your immune system and open you up to everything from autoimmune diseases to cancer to premature aging. Now, Robert Kennedy Jr. talks a lot about artificial colors, synthetic food dyes. He's right. For years, synthetic food dyes had made media headlines for increasing the risk of cancer and behavioral problems like hyperactivity, among other, like children who eat, for example, coloring and food. They often have hyperactivity, and it's they think it's what do they call that? Some sort of hyperactivity disorder, when in fact it comes from the dyes that are being used in the food. Some of these include red number 4 to yellow number 5 and yellow number 6. They account for 90% of all dyes used in food and drinks. And they contain a chemical called benzidine, which is a known carcinogen. Benzidine is a known carcinogen. Whenever these artificial colors are included in food or drinks in the European Union, the products must carry the warning label, may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children. Red dye number 3 is used in cake icing, chewing gum, and candy. It's so potentially harmful that the states of California and New York want to ban it from all products. The FDA banned red number 3 from use in cosmetics in 1990. Another one is called potassium bromate. It's found in baked goods like bread, tortillas, cookies. Potassium bromate is a possible carcinogen that may also damage DNA, which would not only cause cancer but stimulate aging and increase the risk of leaky gut syndrome. Leaky gut syndrome involves openings in the intestine that allow endotoxins from bacteria to get into the blood and cause systemic inflammation. This particular chemical, potassium bromate, is banned in the United Kingdom, the European Union, Canada, and Brazil, and must carry a warning label used in food sold in California. But look for it. Don't ever even think of eating anything that has artificial colors or potassium bromate. Both of them are possible carcinogens. Bromated vegetable oil, or BVO, is typically found in soda and juice. BVO has been linked to neurological conditions like the loss of muscle coordination and memory, in addition to interfering with thyroid hormone production. That means it's an endocrine disrupting chemical. It's already banned in Europe, while both California and New York are seeking to prohibit its use. Coca-Cola and Pepsi, it used to be a common ingredient in both Coca-Cola and Pepsi, but they've stopped using the chemical, but it can still be found in other types of sodas and stuff. In July 2024, the FDA declared that the BVO was no longer allowed in food, but the rule will not take place for a year. And it still hasn't gone into effect as far as I know, which allows, anyway, artificial sweeteners. Now, this is more controversial. A lot of people will tell you about the dangers of non-caloric sweeteners like acetyl and potassium, aspartame, erythritol, sucralose. I've done previous videos about this. So particularly, I've done one on erythritol and xylitol. These things are not really artificial sweeteners. They're a type of sugar alcohols that are actually manufactured or synthesized in the human body. In this situation with these type of sweeteners, only the dose determines the poison. In other words, some recent studies have suggested that these things can cause heart disease. The truth of the matter is that the studies were extremely flawed. They used doses of these particular chemicals, erythritol and xylitol, which almost people never consume. They were massive doses. They were nonsensical studies. Nobody in their right mind would eat the amount of the doses that were used in these studies. As for some of these other artificial sweeteners, sucralose, they say that the theory is that it can interfere with the working of the intestinal microbiome. It can cause insulin sensitivity. However, this has not really been definitively shown in humans. Most of it has to do with isolated cell studies. And again, it relates to the amount you eat. If you eat small doses of even artificial sweeteners, I really strongly doubt that they're going to cause a problem. But however, if you're one of those people that drinks like 10, diet sodas a day, or eats massive amounts of aspartame, that type of thing, that's where you can have a little bit of a problem. There's another one called titanium dioxide. It's found in candy, baked goods, creamy salad dressing, and some frozen products like pizza and ice cream. It helps to enhance color. It whitens food and prevents caking. But this chemical was banned by the European Union in 2022, and it can damage the immune system and our DNA. That California and New York are also looking to prohibit this particular chemical. Then you have the artificial preservatives. Most of them are like antioxidants. For example, nitrates and nitrites. They're found in deli meats, hot dogs, and other processed meat. They're linked to cancer, thyroid problems, and other issues. Interestingly enough, nitrates and nitrates, there's another school of thought that considers them very healthy because they're precursors for nitric oxide, which is a very important chemical in the body. Now, the reason why nitrates and nitrates and nitrites, and they're also found in vegetables. And one of the reasons health experts tell you to eat vegetables is because some of them, like spinach, like beets, they're high in natural nitrates, which are converted to nitrites, converted to nitric oxide. And some people are trying to say don't eat these things because they cause cancer. Well, they cause cancer because they combine with byproducts amino acid metabolism called amines to form a chemical called nitrosamines, and that's associated with stomach cancer. However, vitamin C and vitamin E completely inhibit the process. And also, more recent studies show that nitrates are safe. In let's say the amount of that's consumed in food or beet juice is safe. So I wouldn't worry too much. You don't eat hot dogs for another reason, because hot dogs are considered like mystery meat. It consists of various types. You don't know really what goes in hot dogs. When I found this out years ago, I stopped eating. I wouldn't eat a hot dog. I wouldn't even give a hot dog to my dog. Literally, I mean, because you don't really know what's in a hot dog. And the problem is not the nitrates; it's what's in the food. There's a antioxidant called butylated hydroxyacetanol, or BHA, found in cured meats, breakfast cereals, potato chips, butter, beer, and other foods. It's identified as a possible carcinogen. Again, you'd have to consume massive amounts. Same with a similar chemical called BHT, found in breakfast cereals, chewing gum, baked goods. Again, possible carcinogen. Again, it depends on how much you eat. Small amounts only provide a slight antioxidant action, which is actually good for you. There's something called propylparaben, which is found in pastries, trail mix, and tortillas. It's been linked to developmental and reproductive issues. The other thing you have to consider, so that's some of the dirty foods. Now I want to talk about the other major category that can really mess you up. And this is something that a lot of bodybuilders will consume. A lot of people into health will consume fruits and vegetables. Now, fruits and vegetables, particularly vegans practically, they do. They live on fruits, vegetables, and seeds. They don't eat animal protein foods. So you have to be careful of what you eat, because what I recommend right off the bat is, and there's a controversy about this, all your fruits and vegetables that you consume should be organic. I know that there's been a lot of people that have made videos and written articles saying that organic is overhyped and you don't need to worry about it. I say BS. I've done research on organic vegetables versus regular vegetables and fruits. Organic is definitely superior, not only because of the lack of pesticides. These pesticides are associated with cancer and immune dysfunction and premature aging, but also because of the fact that organic vegetables and fruits actually tend to have more nutrients than regular fruits and vegetables. Now, there's a group called the Environmental, let me see if I get the right name, the Environmental environmental something group. I don't even know the exact name. But anyway, they compile a list. Every year they analyze the amount of pesticide, the Environmental Working Group, EWG. And each year they compile and update lists of the cleanest and dirtiest fruits and vegetables. And what they mean by dirty is these are the ones that have the most amount of pesticide residues. Now, the 2025 list of the dirty dozen, as they call it, the dirtiest vegetables in terms of pesticide residues, unfortunately, potatoes now made the list. They weren't on the list in the past, but probably restrictions have been lifted. As I said, this government has listed restrictions on the use of pesticides, and unfortunately potatoes now have a good amount of pesticide residues. Blueberries, which is one of the healthiest fruits you can eat, unfortunately has traces of toxic pesticides. Blackberries, another healthy fruit, it made the list. It has apples are doused with chemical after harvest. Pears are among the most pesticide-contaminated fruit. Nectarines, cherries, peaches. Peaches are loaded with pesticide contamination. Grapes, kale, collard, and mustard greens. More than half the kale samples showed were tainted with cancer-causing pesticides. Spinach has more pesticide residues by weight than any other type of product, which is very sad, because spinach is second only to beets as the best natural source of nitrates, which convert into nitric oxide. Now, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't eat these fruits and vegetables. What it means is you have to clean them. If you're not going to buy organic versions of these fruits and vegetables, you're going to have to clean them. A good way to do that is with baking soda and water or white vinegar. What you do is you pour the baking soda, white vinegar with water into a pan or dish. You take the fruit or vegetable you want to eat and you soak it in the baking soda water combination or the white vinegar for at least 15 to 20 minutes, and then you rinse it. By doing that, you will get rid of almost all the pesticides that could be. You only have to do this if you choose to eat non-organic fruits and vegetables. Now, what are the safest fruits and vegetables? Sweet corn, fresh and frozen, avocados, papaya, onion, sweet peas, frozen sweet peas, asparagus, cabbage, watermelon, cauliflower, bananas, mangoes, mushrooms, and kiwi. And carrots. These are all safe. They have the least amount of pesticides. Kind of in the middle, where, in other words, they're not completely free of pesticides, but they don't have a lot of pesticides. Broccoli, cantaloupe, sweet potatoes, snap peas, eggplant, grapefruit, oranges, raspberries, summer squash, tomatillos, cherry tomatoes, plums, winter squash, lettuce, celery, cucumbers, tangerines, green beans, bell and hot peppers. Those are the ones that are kind of in the middle. Now, I will also say that as far as, of course, if you're eating animal protein foods like chicken, I wrote an article talking about how chicken, most commercial chicken, they've tested it, the chicken they sell in supermarkets. I've written about this in my Applied Metabolics publication. It's actually fairly rich in arsenic. And rice is the richest source of arsenic of all foods. Chicken and rice is a favorite food of bodybuilders. It packs a terrific punch of arsenic. In my article about the arsenic in food, I recommended a couple of nutritional remedies such as selenium, and there's a couple of other nutrients where if you want to eat chicken, I'm talking about regular chicken, not organic chicken and rice. If you take these nutrients, it'll block the effect of the arsenic and you won't have any problem. Subscribe to my Applied Metabolics, and this article will tell you everything you need to know to protect yourself from arsenic in foods. As far as the meat and the meats, you should really try to eat grass-fed beef and organic meat because, again, the U.S. formerly kept an eye on added chemicals like antibiotics and all that stuff. But again, this administration, that cuts down the profits of a lot of these big companies that produce meat. So this administration, because of their favoring of corporations over individual health, has loosened the restrictions. So chemicals are now being added back to meat and chicken, all that kind of stuff. So, you're best to stick with, it's a little bit more money, but you're best to stick with stuff like grass-fed beef, organic chicken. What about eggs? Eggs. Okay, you see there's two kinds of eggs. Well, there's several kinds in the supermarket. You'll see regular eggs, and then you'll see they'll also have organic eggs, and then they'll have the free range eggs. Unfortunately, the free range eggs, I did a little investigation of that years ago. Free range eggs are basically a kind of a rip-off because the law allows these egg producers to label eggs as free range if they let the chickens out for about 2 minutes, let them out of their cages and walk around, and then they stick them right back in these cramped cages, and it's a big rip-off. Most of these so-called free range eggs are no better than regular eggs, even though you're paying sometimes 2 to 3 times more. Organic eggs might be a little bit of an advantage because they use better feed for the chickens. A lot of the feed contains omega-3 sources, so the organic eggs actually have much, much more omega-3 than regular eggs, so that's a choice there. So there's a lot more to this topic about dangerous food items, but I don't want this video to go too long. I don't I've said this before, I just don't understand these people that put on these 2 and 3 and 4 hour podcasts or video, whatever they want to call them. There's no way in a billion years I would sit and watch a 4-hour video on anything. Even if the topic of the video was, watch this video and it'll show you where you can find a pot of solid gold. I wouldn't watch it because the truth of the matter is I'd fall asleep after about, a half hour maybe, 40 minutes. They've done research, by the way, that shows the maximum human attention span for videos is 20 minutes. So those of you who are so-called YouTube creators, you should keep that in mind. And I know some people say, well, you don't have to watch the whole thing at once. Yeah, that doesn't work. What are you gonna watch 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there? Then you're gonna forget what you want. That doesn't work. I think videos should be kept to a maximum of 30 minutes. That's it, and that's what I try and do. Right now, as I'm speaking, I'm at the 20-minute mark, so I'm gonna kind of end it now by telling you, if you want more information on nutrition, exercise science, anti-aging research, ergogenic age, supplement science, which ones work, which ones don't, hormone therapy, effective fat loss techniques, women's health and fitness, and much more. Applied Metabolics, that's my publication, appliedmetabolics.com. I cover more topics than any other digital publication on the entire internet. No other publication has 63 years of experience that I do. I was a professional writer for years. Applied Metabolics is written in magazine style. It's easy to read, and I try to make it entertaining as well as informative. I think you'll like it, and I think you'll learn a lot from it. And it's not the same crap you're seeing in a lot of these videos and these blogs. It's kind of off-the-road stuff, and it's stuff that you will not find in common places, like I say, in videos and blogs. This is stuff that's most people don't know anything about, including so-called experts. Again, appliedmetabolics.com. When you subscribe, send me an email. I'll send you an invitation to join my private Applied Metabolic Facebook page, where each day I post new information on nutrition, exercise science, and general health and medicine. I have an email portal on my Applied Metabolics webpage where current subscribers only. You could send me short questions about anything they read in Applied Metabolics or anything that interests them in the way of nutrition, exercise, and health, and I will answer the questions in appreciation of their subscription. It's a kind of a bonus for subscribing. I don't know how many other digital publications do that, but I do it because I appreciate the subscription. So also, if you think my videos are informative, of use, feel free to subscribe. They're completely free. There's no charge. I post a new video every Tuesday, and by all means, please tell others about this channel. This is one of the only, and I mean only, zero BS video channels on YouTube. 99% of other video channels are just full of commercialization. They're trying to push products on you. Most of the information is nonsensical, not based on any science. And don't believe that because somebody has an advanced degree, like a PhD or an MD, that they're telling you the truth. Most of those guys are full of shit too. Most of them are dishonest, and they're making a lot of money off unwary consumers who trust them because of their advanced degrees. It's kind of sad, but that's the fact of the matter. So, if you want to have your if you want to find the best friend you'll ever had, your most loyal friend that'll stick with you in good times and bad, go to your local shelter and adopt a dog. Do it today. They're the best. Thank you for listening.